everybody, this is Reaper here at Triangle Gaming, and today I'm bringing you another League of Legends guide on Vayne the Night Hunter. This is going to be a basic ADC guide. We're going to be going over abilities, her masteries, runes, and an item build I like to use with her. And then of course I'm going to have some game footage at the end for everybody. First things first on Vayne. One of the biggest things you need to know about her is she shines at the mid to end game, end game being the primary thing. You can take your opportunities, of course, to get your kills in the beginning, but if you don't get a couple kills in the beginning, don't worry about it. If you get killed a time or two, don't worry about it. Keep playing. Don't get disgruntled by it. Her big points are mid to end game. You have to utilize her abilities. She is an extreme duelist. She can take most champions one-on-one because of her mobility, which we'll talk about in her abilities. And she is really fun to play with. You can see right here her attack power is extremely high, and her difficulty of play is almost extremely high. And I think that has mainly to do with her mobility, utilizing that, and of course because she comes in later to play in the end game. Vayne is probably one of my most played ADCs. I really do enjoy playing Vayne, and you have to learn to utilize her abilities for her to be extremely good. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the abilities really quick. Alright, so her passive ability, Night Hunter. Vayne ruthlessly hunts evildoers. She gains 30 movement speed when moving toward nearby enemy champions. So this gives you that boost of movement speed when you're attacking champions, or for to run them down or to get into the battle a little bit faster. Tumble, her Q. Vayne tumbles, maneuvering to carefully place her next shot. Her next attack deals bonus damage. So this is going to not only increase, jumping towards the enemy champion, tumbling towards them, but you're going to do increased damage on your next basic ability. Or actually, her next attack, I'm sorry. Silver bolts. Vayne tips her bolts with a rare metal toxic to evil things. The third consecutive attack or ability against the same target deals a percentage of the target's maximum health as bonus true damage. This is an extremely good ability. I'm sorry for the tongue twist. The more hits you have against the target, the more damage you're going to do. It's going to be that third stack, that third hit is going to do the bonus damage. Condemn. Vayne draws a heavy crossbow from her back and fires a huge bolt at her target, knocking them back and dealing damage. If they collide with terrain, they are impaled, dealing bonus damage and stunning them. So this is going to help you maybe get a target off of you, or to keep them in place so that you can dwindle them down and kill them without them getting away. So you can use this when you're next against a wall, and it's going to do bonus damage if they hit the wall, of course, like it says, and it's going to also help you get away from champions, especially kind of in the early game when you're going back and forth with the enemy ADC. Final hour, her ultimate. Readying herself for an epic confrontation, Vayne gains increased attack damage, invisibility during tumble, and triple the bonus movement speed from Night Hunter. So this is going to allow you to chase down your enemies faster. It's going to give you increased attack damage, and when you hit your Q, your tumble, it's going to give you 1 second of invisibility. So that's going to help you. That's why she is such an extreme duelist, is because when you use her ultimate, you will become invisible, taking the aggro off of you and them losing you for a second or two, and it's also gonna help you move around a lot faster. So max order, 2 different max orders. The one I go with because of how I play Vayne is Q. I max out Q first. My first point's gonna be in Q, and I'm gonna max it out first. My second point is in Condemn, only because this helps you out in fighting. Now you might miss out on some of the CS a little bit because you can use your bolts and knock out the minions faster, but Condemn will help you get away. It'll help you escape from ganks, because not only can you tumble away, but if they flash onto you, you can hit your E and knock them back early game. Then W would be my third point. Now I'm going to max out W second. So Q first point, Q max out first, E second point, W third point, W max out second, E max out last. So a lot of people I've seen have gone with W first, and talked to, they've gone with W first, and the reason they go W first is because they go for attack speed with Vayne. I go for attack damage first with Vayne, and we'll go over that in the item build later. But with the attack speed, if you're going to go attack speed with her, which is okay, That's just not how I really like to play with her to start out with. If you're gonna go attack speed with her, then W would be what you max out first. You're gonna use You're gonna put a point in tumble first, a point in W next, and then a point in E, and then max out W. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our masteries. Okay, in our masteries, I'm going to show you two different ways of building a mastery page for her. And again, you can tweak this a little bit how you want to, how you feel like playing Vayne. Now, in offense, we have 21. We got the 4 in Fury, 1 in Butcher, 1 in Feast for, when you kill your minions, you're going to get extra health and mana. This helps you out a lot in the beginning. Of course, it'll help you later on with champions too. Not a big deal later on though. 3 points from Brute Force for that increased attack damage at the end game. 1 in Martial Mastery for that overall increased +4 damage. Executioner for doing more damage to champions below 50% health. 3 in Warlord for that increased bonus attack damage. 3 in Devastating Strikes. 1 in Frenzy, and 1 in Havoc. Okay, and we got 4 points in defensive. And I do take a couple points in defensive with Vayne because she is so squishy. So we have 2 in block, 2 in recovery. And then over in the utility, we have 3 for Fleet of Foot for that increased movement speed. So not only is it going to benefit you in just regularly moving, this is going to benefit you more in your passive. 1 point meditation, mainly just so I can get down here to Alchemist and increase duration of potions and elixirs. It helps you out a lot in the beginning of the game, of course, where she's not extremely good. The meditation now, the mana, I've never really found Vayne to be mana hungry, like ever, really. So the other way to build a mastery page is the same in offense, but you're going to build all defense instead of, or with your last 9 points, instead of utility. So you're going to put 2 in recovery, 2 in block, 1 in unyielding, 3 in veteran scars, and 1 in juggernaut. This is going to help her from not being so squishy. And it's up to you to how to play her. I like the mobility and the utility. I generally take that over the defensive side of it. So enough with the masteries, let's go ahead and jump into the runes. So with the runes, nothing special, nothing fancy. I do have the magnifier on, so the cursor is going to be off. But really quick, the greater mark of attack damage all the way around. The greater quintessence of attack speed. This is where you're going to get some of your boost from for your attack speed. I do build damage in the game, like I said before, but this will give you some initial attack speed to help you out. Or you can go with the movement speed if you choose to go that route. Will help you chase down your enemy champions and stuff and give you that extra boost. It's up to you on that, but I do take the attack speed. Also, the seals, the greater seal of armor, and with the glyphs, we'll go with the greater glyph of magic resist. Now, this is going to be a flat magic resist, and most of my guides I do show the scaling magic resist for the end game to help you out with more of that, but with an ADC in the bottom because she is so squishy, this is going to help you out again, especially against those AP champions like Ezreal and Corki and stuff of that nature down in the and Kog'Maw and stuff like that down in the bottom lane. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over into the item build. Alright, again, I've got this magnified because something's going on with her. I'll fix that later. I wanted to rush this out because I'm going offshore tomorrow. So, okay, Doran's Blade. Starting items. Doran's Blade, 95% of the time I will take Doran's Blade, a health pot, and Warding Totem. If you don't like the Doran's items, Boots of Speed or Longsword. The Longsword will boost you into your first starting item. Of course, Boots of Speed is okay too. And of course you can pick up more health pots with that. Now I wouldn't really pick up any mana pots in the beginning, or really ever with Vayne, because I've, like I said, never found her mana hungry. So first recall. The first item I tried to wait. It's a little bit longer than most guys like to wait, but I try to stay in lane unless of course I'm killed or really I have to go back. I like to save up for the BF sword. Reason I go for the BF sword first is because of the Bloodthirster. Now, I know there's a little controversy in right now since the Bloodthirster's been nerfed. Some people don't like taking it until like a last item or not at all. But 90% of the time that I have rushed a Bloodthirster, I have won with Vayne and I have done well with Vayne. If I have rushed a Blade of the Ruined King first, not so much. I mean, I'm not going to say that I lose more than I win with it, but I do a lot better with Bloodthirster. I do. It has more attack damage, which, like I said with the mastery build earlier, I go for damage with Vayne. especially in the beginning of the game, and then I go for attack speed later. So my first item I'm going to try and get is Bloodthirster. If you can't afford that when you go back, which a lot of the times I haven't been able to, I usually get Boots of Speed and Vampiric Scepter, because that also builds into Bloodthirster. Now if you're going for Blade of the Ruined King, same thing on that, except for the BF Sword, of course. Vampiric Scepter and Boots of Speed. If you're going for attack speed first, straight attack speed, go for the Phantom Dancer, get the Zeal. I don't really recommend doing that though. Go for the Blade of the Ruined King if you're not wanting to go for Bloodthirster first. So we're going to be building into the Berserker's Greaves for the boots. First item is going to be Bloodthirster. Of course, if you don't want to use Bloodthirster, go ahead and go with the Blade of the Ruined King. Now I get Bloodthirster first, then Blade of the Ruined King, then Infinity's Edge, then Phantom Dancer, and then at the last item I generally build a Last Whisper, unless I'm building a defensive item, or just depending on how the game goes. You have to judge that when you're playing the game. Not everything is set in stone. Not all these items are set in stone. Of course, every game is different on how you might be falling behind, or you might be getting ahead, or what your team needs, or what they don't need. So you have to look at that. Now, the situational items, you got Yomuu's Ghostblade. I would maybe trade this out with Last Whisper. It just depends on how the game's going. It does have that armor penetration, that's why I say change that with Last Whisper. And then its active gives you increased movement speed and gives you great increased attack speed. So it's going to help you chase down enemies, and it's going to do a lot more, or allow you to attack them faster, doing a lot more damage when you're chasing them down. It also gives you attack damage and that critical strike chance, and then cooldown reduction to help you out with your tumble. So another one is Frozen Mallet. Now this one, I only take this one if I'm just waylaying on the enemy team, and rarely even do I do it then, but I have used it before because it gives you that health, the extra health for squishiness. Like if they have a lot of AD that's fed and they're doing a lot of damage really fast, you might take this to give you some more health. It's going to also allow you to chase them down a lot faster because it's going to slow them down for each attack you do on them. The Guardian Angel for a defensive item because it gives you magic resist and armor, and of course if you die because you're squishy, it's going to bring you back to life, and hopefully your team is beside you or near you so they can kind of fend them off while they're waiting for you to come back up. Banshee's Veil because of the magic resist, but it gives you increased health, but the big thing on it is it blocks any enemy ability if it's off cooldown. No, it only does it once, and then it has a 40-second cooldown. So that's kind of the contradiction on it, is not really a contradiction, but a controversy on it. Is it worth taking? Because some enemy champions, they'll see that you have that if they're paying attention, and they'll hit you with a small item or ability and then knock you out with their big abilities. So if they don't know it, then it's going to work out great for you because they're going to hit you with their hardest hit ability first, and it's going to block it. So it's going to work good for you on that. So those are the situational items. Of course, there's a lot more items out there that you might look at, and if you see some things, if you have any questions or comments about the item build or about anything in the video, of course leave it down in the comment section below. We'll discuss it. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the game footage, and then I'll catch y'all at the end of the video. Alright guys, just remember with Vayne, in-game is prime time for her, okay? That's where she's going to benefit the most. Mid-game she'll do pretty well too. So remember, if you're losing your lane, if you've been killed a time or two and you haven't gotten a kill, don't fret. Just try to keep the enemy team from destroying your towers in the beginning, and you'll have plenty of time to shine in the end game. With their abilities, my build, I like to max out Q first, W second, E last. First point goes in Q, second point in E, third point in W, and then of course the order I told you. And if you're wanting to build attack speed, W is going to benefit you some too. Maxing it out first if you want to go that route. Feel free to have fun, play with her, you know, learn to utilize her abilities. Remember, she's a duelist. She's one of the best in the game because of her mobility, her getting away, her getting into the fight, and moving around the champion to dodge attacks and everything of that nature. The summoner spells, really quick, because I forgot to mention them in the beginning of the video like I always do, is going to be heal and flash. That's generally what you take with most of your ADCs anyways, so nothing special and fancy on that. So if you have any comments or questions, by any means just leave them in the comment section below. We'll discuss them. If you like the video, hit the like button please. Subscribe to the channel. We have plenty of guides out right now. We have plenty more that are going to be coming out in the future. And with our work and school that's going on between me and my brother Seoxy, sometimes we might go a little while without putting out a guide, and then other times we'll get a few out, you know, in just a day or two. So stick with us. We're hoping to build a bunch of our subscribers. Thank y'all for those of y'all that are out there right now, and we'll see y'all in the next one.